Back to our continuing coverage of the security crisis, and if in view of recent events, many have asked, just who exactly is a terrorist, and why do Somalis and Muslims feel targeted in the war against terror? KTN's Patrick Amimo with some insight.
A UN security monitoring report says by 2012, about 609 Somali Kenyans, referred to as Kenyan Mujahideen, had been recruited by Al-Shabaab. The youth, after being radicalized, are said to have sneaked back into Kenya to champion the Al-Shabaab cause. Pundits say Al-Shabaab sympathizers have been using the non-Somali Kenyan youths to carry out attacks since they blend well with the general population and therefore harder to track. Between August and December 2012, 18 people were killed by explosives in Isli estate and its environs. Between December last year and March this year, a total of 10 people were killed in Isli by explosives. The attacks left hundreds nursing injuries. Last week, the government started a security operation in Isli, which is referred to as Small Mogadishu, to flush out suspected criminals, aliens and Al-Shabaab sympathizers.
And it's unfortunate we have people who belong to that ethnic community who are Kenyans, genuine Kenyans living in this country. We also have genuine refugees who have all the rights to be in this country.
Lethome faulted the government's shoot-to-kill order in dealing with criminals and suspected terrorists.
I think a person or a suspect is more useful to the police alive than dead, because he'll be able to talk. Because I want to believe we have two categories of people. When there is an act like that, we have the planners and then we have the executors or the foot soldiers. Why do you want to execute the foot soldiers before knowing who actually is behind this foot soldier?
The UN Security Council Resolution 1566 of 2004 defines terrorism as criminal acts committed with the intent to cause death or serious bodily harm to civilians or non-combatants, with the purpose of intimidating a population or compelling a government or an international organization to do or abstain from doing any act. The Federal Bureau of Investigations defines terrorism as the unlawful use of force or violence against persons or property to intimidate or coerce the government, the civilian population, or any segment thereof in furtherance of political or social objectives.
Like what the Iran Republican Army was doing. That is terror. But nobody said that is Christian terrorism. But those are Christians. They are predominantly Catholic. But are there people who use religion to perpetrate acts of terror and crime? Yes, the answer is yes. Now, does that mean now the whole religion now supports that act? No, the answer is no. And that's why we are saying blanket condemnation is wrong. Like the Lord's Resistance Army, that's a terror group. Nobody talks about Christian terrorism. So we find there is that prejudice. There is that prejudice. It's unfortunate many people commit these acts and claim we are doing it because of religion. And maybe that religion happens to be Islam.
Kenya has been caught in the confusion of whom to consider a terrorist and whom to consider a harmless civilian. Patrick Amimo, KTN.